This is Miss Regina, coming to you from the Ashland Public Library in Ashland, Ohio. Welcome to Summer Safari Science. We've been busy at the library, and I hope you were able to pick up this week's exploration kit. And it has crafts in it, it has our science activity, and a lot more information and fun things to do. It's available at the desk, so just stop by. This week we're looking at Antarctica, our last and final continent of this summer season. So, Antarctica, that's in the southern hemisphere. And a lot of animals that are just indigenous to Antarctica, or to the southern hemisphere totally, are the penguins. And I have a couple penguins here. This one has a fun way of saying hello. Let me see here, where is it? He says hello, some way. Oh, okay. And this one has a fun way of saying hello too. And then he has this is what he says. So their sounds are really good. Let's unpack our safari science. This week it looks kind of small. It just has a picture in it. A picture of a penguin. And we'll put that aside for a moment. And it also has a small little squirt bottle. Now, what you have to do to do this one, fill it with water. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you do it, you snap it on. And then it has a top to it also. So it snaps on and off. Well, the science question this week is, how do penguins stay dry? Wow. Penguins spend about half their life in water. And although there are 18 species of penguins, only about 4 or 5 of them are found as far south as Antarctica. In fact, many of them live to the north of Antarctica. Several species are found in the temperate zones, such as the Galapagos penguins. They live near the equator. So, and sometimes they do migrate a little bit to north of the equator, but not very far. Most penguins eat krill. Krills are very tiny fish. And they eat fish and squid and other forms of sea life that they catch while they're swimming underwater. And they spend half their time on land. That's when they mate. They have their babies, and then half their time in the water. And that would be around the oceans there in the Southern Ocean, Southern Atlantic, Southern Pacific. Penguins have a lot of feathers that grow close together, and they cover their entire body. Now, their feathers trap and insulate a layer of warmth next to their skin. An adaptive gland called the preen, or the oil gland, produces a waterproof oil, which penguins then spread across their feathers as they preen themselves, it's called. And if this waterproofing oil spreads across their feathers, it reduces the friction, and they can swim fast through water. It would be like some of the swimmers in the Olympics do, when they make sure that they have their bodysuit on, or they're very, they will put stuff on them to make them go through. Like I bet you've had it when you've had suntan lotion on you in the water. Well, these feathers, they also make the oil in the feathers that just gives them a kind of a waxy feel. And the oil in their feathers acts like a little coat. And it repels the water, and then it keeps them dry. So they have a layer of feathers, then they have a layer of down, when that's to keep them warm. Then they have their skin, and then comes a layer of blubber or fat that helps insulate also. So they're pretty well protected. Today's activity is a simulation. That means I can't really have a penguin here to see its oil, but we're going to kind of simulate what we could do. We're going to take our penguin picture, and you need to have a white, a black, and if you choose to, an orange crayon. Or you could just make their feet black also. Some penguins, some of them are black, some of them are orange feet. So it's up to you. So what you have to do is, first thing you need to do is take and color even the white part, because we want the white part to get, penguins, they don't have just feathers here that aren't covered with wax, the preen oil, but they have it all over. So you have to take, and it's really hard to see when you color white on white. I know that. But you have to look, and sometimes if you take it to the sunlight, you can kind of see if it has it'll have a reflective light on it. So you have to color it really, really, really hard. And then, once all of your white is covered, then you're going to take the black and you're going to push really hard on it, and you're going to put a nice layer of black. Now, we know that crayons are black colored waxy substances, and that's what we're doing. We're kind of putting the wax right on our penguin. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to finish this, and I'll be right back. Well, I finished my picture. And it's got lots of white, lots of black, and I did put the orange on it. Okay. So now we're going to simulate how the water reacts to the penguin feathers that have this slight waxy substance on it. So, following your instructions, it says to take and put water into this. Now, I'm going to put a couple drops of blue into my water, so that you'll be able to see them. You don't have to do that. You can put color in or not. It's totally up to you. Let me see if I can get the color to come out here. There we go. A couple drops of blue in there, and it makes it very, very blue. I'm also going to put some paper towels right here, just in case I would spill, which I hope I don't spill, but I might. So I have them there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on my, here's the bottom. Now it doesn't take very much water at all to fill this, so just put a couple drops. Now if you don't happen to have a spray bottle, which is okay, you don't have to have a spray bottle to do this. You can just use your fingers. You can take them and kind of, don't drop a ton of water on them. Just kind of flick your fingers and spray it. Might feel pretty good if it's a real hot day. And I'm going to pop the top on, and I just push the top on. Okay, so here's my spray bottle. And what I'm going to do is make sure that there's it. So I'm going to take and I'm going to spray my penguin. Now, what I think is going to happen, I think the paper around the penguin might absorb some water. But I'm hoping that the waxy substance that I put on the penguin picture, I hope that the water will bead up and just drop away. So let's see if that happens. I'm going to hold it here, and I'm just going to push on the spray a couple times. Okay, let's see. See how it beads up here and how it is soaked into the paper here? Actually, these beads are just going to come right down, aren't they? Yeah. And if I just go like this, the places that I sprayed have not absorbed the water. I can see the waxy substance there. And the places that do, that I haven't put the wax on, it just falls right down and then it gets absorbed into the paper. Now, some facts about penguins that I thought you might like to know. A group of penguins in the water is called a raft. And a group of penguins on land is called a waddle. Other collective nouns for penguins, sometimes they call them a colony, a rookery, or even a huddle of penguins. So you wouldn't say a bunch of penguins. You'd say, oh, a colony of penguins. Oh, a huddle of penguins. That's a lot of penguins. Or a rookery of penguins. Rookeries usually involve the little peeps or the little chicks themselves. When a penguin, especially the emperors, when they lay an egg, the female lays the eggs, and then she goes away. She hasn't eaten for a while. They go inland to lay their eggs. They pop out of the water. They go inland to lay their eggs. And then the female lays her eggs, and she will then pass the egg to her husband, to the male. And the male then takes his feet, and he puts the egg on his feet and covers the egg with with his fur. So he would bring this layer of feathers. He'd bring this layer of feathers over the egg and keeps them warm. His feet have lots of capillaries in them, and that takes the warm blood that flows through the penguin, and it keeps the egg warm enough. That's amazing to me. Then once the egg hatches, and the male has not eaten, they'll move just a little. They take turns in the huddle. But once the male that has not eaten for a while, he then waits for his mate. His mate comes back, the female comes back, and she will then take the chick and start feeding the chick. And then the male goes away and he gets to go and eat. So it's really a nicely paired group. Also, when they swim, most species of penguins go about 4 to 7 miles an hour. But there's one group called the gintus. They could reach swimming speeds up to 22 miles per hour. They're pretty fast. Well, and they move fast so that they can avoid their big predator. Their biggest predator is the sea lions. They like to eat penguins. Another fact that I know about penguins are the emperor penguin is very tall. He's about 4 feet tall. How tall are you? Are you over 4 feet or under 4 feet? Would you be as tall as a penguin? I'm a little over 5 feet. I'm 5 feet 3. So I'm about this much over a penguin, an emperor penguin. Maybe you'd be the same size or maybe shorter. The littlest penguin, the smallest penguin that we know of, is called the little blue. And it lives in warmer waters right around New Zealand and Australia. And it's only about 33 centimeters high. Now, 33 centimeters is about that high. So this might be just about 33 centimeters. This might be the size of a little blue. And finally, another interesting thing is that most penguins build their nests of sticks and feathers. But we know the one breed, the emperor penguin, that doesn't build a nest. They have the egg nest right on the male's feet. Well, I hope you've learned a little bit about penguins, and I hope you'll come back again when we do more science activities at the Ashland Public Library. Bye.